Have you ever stood in line at your local bank, watching the teller behind the thick, bulletproof glass, and wondered what they really know? What conversations happen in the back office after the last customer leaves and the blinds are drawn? We all assume it's just about counting cash and processing loans, but what if I told you that the most significant, planet-altering financial shift in human history isn't just a conspiracy theory discussed in shadowy online forums, but a concrete, scheduled, and actively prepared for event that is currently being hardwired into the global banking system itself? And what if a serving bank teller, risking his career, his freedom, and breaking a legally binding non-disclosure agreement, decided that the public deserved to know the truth? What you are about to hear is not my opinion. It is not speculation or analysis. This is a raw, first-hand account from a man inside the machine, a man who processes your deposits and withdrawals every single day. This individual sat down with me, his voice digitally altered, his identity protected by every means at my disposal, to reveal 3 specific, coded phrases that he and his colleagues have been secretly trained to listen for. These phrases, he swears, will act as the master key for customers to access their revalued currency accounts when the global financial reset becomes public. He didn't just tell me about them, he described the exact hidden protocols embedded in the banking software that these phrases trigger. He confirmed with chilling precision the exact date range the entire international banking network is being primed for. The GCR timeline, the one we've all heard whispers about, is not just real, it is locked, loaded, and waiting for a trigger that is already in motion. This isn't a prediction anymore, it's a countdown, and the clock is ticking from inside the very institutions we entrust with our money. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because I will not only reveal these 3 secret phrases, but I will also explain the shocking, strategic reason why this information is being so compartmentalized within the banks right now. This is about more than just getting a new currency, it's about understanding the grand, architectural blueprint of the new financial system and what you need to do immediately, not with your money, but with your mind, to ensure you are not left paralyzed on the wrong side of the financial divide when the gates to this new reality finally and irrevocably swing open. The story he told me began not with a bang, but with a software update. It was a routine Tuesday morning, he said, when a mandatory patch was pushed to all the terminals. No big announcement, no explanatory memo from head office, just a single, cryptic bullet point in an internal digital changelog that mentioned enhanced customer service protocols for specialized scenarios. The real truth, however, was unveiled in a tightly controlled, in-person seminar that followed a week later. This meeting was not recorded, and every attending employee was required to sign a new, specific NDA that focused solely on this new procedural module. The weight of that moment wasn't lost on him. This was different. The module, led by a stern, unfamiliar trainer from a corporate security firm, outlined 3 primary customer interaction scenarios, each one tied to a specific, seemingly nonsensical phrase. The training was clear. These were not requests to be questioned or clarified. They were activation codes. Hearing one was to be treated as a definitive signal, initiating a pre-programmed sequence within the banking software that would bypass the entire normal interface and unlock a hidden, secondary system. A system designed for a financial reality that does not yet publicly exist. The first phrase a customer might use, and the one they are expecting to be the most common, is, "I need to perform a sovereign currency exchange." Now, on the surface, that sounds like financial jargon, but in the context of a standard bank transaction, it's completely anomalous. A regular teller would have no procedure for a sovereign exchange. They handle dollars, euros, pesos. But according to my source, upon hearing this phrase, the teller is trained to not react with confusion or surprise. Their protocol mandates a calm, deliberate, and scripted response. I can assist you with that. Please allow me a moment to access the international currency portal. This response is the verbal key that coincides with a physical command, a specific key sequence or login that instantly bypasses the standard teller dashboard and brings up a completely different interface. This new screen he described is cleaner, with a different color scheme, and lists currency codes that are not part of our daily foreign exchange. We're talking about codes like XDR, which is the IMF special drawing right, XAU for gold-backed assets, and even other more obscure codes he didn't recognize, which he speculated could be tied to historical or commodity-based currencies. The second phrase is even more precise and is believed to be for individuals holding older, pre-1971 assets, or what are internally referred to as legacy bonds. The phrase is, "I'm here to reconcile my legacy asset portfolio." The word reconcile here is critical. It's an accounting term that signals the need to settle an old, dormant account against a new, active one. The system command for this phrase unlocks a different set of valuation tools, almost like a digital appraisal system, designed to assess and convert these dormant assets into the new financial framework. But the third phrase was the one that truly sent a chill down my spine, because it signifies something far beyond a simple exchange. The phrase is, the digital eagle has landed for its final audit. This one, he explained, is treated as a high-priority, high-security event. It's less about a conversion and more about the activation and full access of a pre-established, pre-funded account, akin to a digital trust or a sovereign wealth fund being unlocked for an individual. When this phrase is uttered, the standard protocol is immediately suspended. The teller is trained to make eye contact with the branch manager using a pre-arranged non-verbal signal. And the protocol involves immediately summoning both the manager and a designated security lead to escort the customer to a private, secure room. The entire process for this third scenario is designed to be discreet, secure, and handled at the highest level of access available at the branch. The teller was adamant that these phrases are not random. They are precise, keyword-activated triggers meticulously designed to surgically filter the public into the correct, preordained financial streams without causing mass panic, confusion, or a stampede on the main banking floor. This is a triage system for the global economy, and he assured me this isn't a future promise or a beta test. The digital architecture is fully in place and live in the system right now. On a dummy training terminal, he demonstrated how entering a specific, non-standard command sequence, one he would not reveal for his own protection, immediately brought up this alternate user interface. He described watching the screen flicker and shift, revealing a portal to a financial world operating in parallel to our own, a world that is currently silent and invisible, but fully built and waiting for the command to go live. This hidden system is the proof that what we are discussing is not a theory, it is a deployed operational system sitting in a state of readiness, embedded within the very heart of our current, crumbling financial infrastructure. The keys have been issued, the locks have been installed, and the bankers are now simply waiting for the starting pistol to sound. But a key, no matter how precise, is useless without knowing which door it opens and, more importantly, when that door will be unlocked. This is where the story transitions from the shocking to the absolutely concrete. According to the internal system alerts, internal bulletins, and the hushed, anxious conversations between senior managers that this teller has witnessed, the entire banking infrastructure is being prepared for a specific liquidity event window. He was unequivocal. The primary date range they are being soft prepared for, the period where all systems are expected to be on highest alert and operational readiness, is between the final week of October and mid-November of this very year. He described seeing internal communications referencing Q4 operational readiness drills and contingency liquidity procedures that are so far beyond the scope of standard year-end financial closures that they made the hair on his arms stand up. Why this specific time frame? He couldn't get a straight, official answer from his superiors, but through careful listening and piecing together fragments of information, he believes it aligns perfectly with two converging, unstoppable forces. The first is the finalization of several major international bilateral trade agreements between powerful nations, agreements that are deliberately and explicitly moving away from the US dollar as the sole reserve currency, creating a new multipolar financial landscape overnight. The second is the culmination of the Basel III international regulatory standards, often called the Basel-Arthurian game, which are coming into full force. These regulations are forcing banks to be radically, painfully transparent about their true assets and liabilities, exposing the staggering levels of debt and risky derivatives that have been hidden off the books for decades. The system, he believes, is so fundamentally fragile that this mandated transparency will act as the final catalyst, the pin that pops the bubble, forcing the planned transition into the open. He described an unmistakable air of quiet, controlled tension among upper management. There are whispered conversations that abruptly stop when a junior employee walks into the break room. There's a sudden, intense, and almost paranoid focus on cybersecurity, system redundancy, and data integrity. They are running multiple, redundant data backups daily and have detailed contingency plans for potential extended branch closures, which are being officially explained as planned system upgrades or network infrastructure modernization. This isn't the frantic, running around panic you see in Hollywood disaster movies. It's a cold, calculated, and methodical preparation for a known, incoming event. the banks are not being caught off guard. They have been building the lifeboats, conducting the drills, and issuing the maps, all while calmly assuring the passengers on the deck that the slight shudder they feel is just the engines undergoing routine maintenance. The GCR timeline is locked not because of a prophecy, but because the mathematical and structural inevitability of the current system's collapse has reached its terminus. The exponential debt curve has run out of room. The only variable left is not the whiff, but simply which specific day within that critical October to November window. The first official domino is tipped, triggering a cascade that will render the old world of finance obsolete before the first snow falls. So, what does this mean for you, sitting at home watching this, holding this incredible knowledge? Information without action is merely trivia. Knowing the phrases is one thing, but understanding the profound context and what is required of you now is everything. This transition is not just about getting rich. It's about navigating the single most disorienting and transformative financial event in modern human history with clarity, purpose, and a calm heart. The first and most immediate step you must take is to cultivate an unshakable mindset of calm awareness. When this event begins to unfold, the mainstream media will initially get it completely wrong. They will call it a catastrophic market crash, a global cyber attack, or a total economic meltdown. They will broadcast images of chaos and sow fear and confusion because that is the only framework they have. You, however, will know the truth. You will understand that this is a planned, orchestrated shift to a new financial paradigm, and your calmness will be your greatest asset, allowing you to think clearly and act decisively when others are frozen in panic. Secondly, do not, under any circumstances, go into your local bank branch tomorrow and try to use these phrases. It will not work, and it will only serve to flag you unnecessarily in their system. These are activation codes for a future date, not a current command. Your mission now is to prepare your documents and, more importantly, your intention. Ensure your passport is valid, your driver's license is current, and you have all your financial and personal records in a secure, accessible order. This is about establishing your sovereign identity beyond the digital screen. Third, and this is the most critical part, I want you to start thinking deeply right now about what you will do with this new financial freedom. This reset is not an end in itself. It is a means to a magnificent end. It is a tool, a key, a resource to be used to dismantle the very systems of control, scarcity, and environmental destruction that have held humanity back for centuries. Think about the projects you are passionate about funding, the communities you want to help build, the healing technologies you want to unleash to clean our oceans, provide free energy, feed the hungry, and cure the sick. The money is nothing but energy. It is the intention behind it that holds the real transformative power. So I am calling you to action right now. Do not just be a passive observer to this information. Become an active, conscious architect of the future we are about to step into. In the comments below, I want you to share one single, powerful thing you are committed to building or healing in this new world. Do not write it for clout or for likes. Write it as a sacred contract with your own future self. Declare your intention to the universe. Put it out there as a beacon that will guide you when the gates of this new financial age finally and irrevocably swing open. Your time is now. Be ready, be calm, and be purposeful.